Hi guys and welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to talk about India versus Pakistan, which is of course going to be played tomorrow on Sunday, which is the 15th of February. Today is the 14th of February, not going into anything else. Today is the 14th of February, and as you know, a lot of things have already emerged about the game which has to be taking place tomorrow in Colombo. So, firstly, this is going to be the first night game which will take place in the Premadasa Stadium in Sri Lanka. And if you are wondering that what is the case of the earlier games, so the earlier games that Pakistan played were in Colombo, but that was the SSC ground, and Pakistan played those night games. So no night games have yet been played in the Premadasa Stadium, so it's fully fresh pitches at night times. Otherwise, we talk about the Premadasa Stadium. Otherwise, so uh, Australia and Ireland have played here. Sri Lanka and Ireland have played here. Yeah, Ireland is the team that has played the most over here. And then we've seen a couple of other small matches as well. But mostly, yeah, it's just Ireland matches that have been played in the Premadasa Stadium. So now we move ahead to the first thing in point, which is the rain threat in Colombo. So the rain threat, as you can see, the rain threat is a lot in Colombo. Now, when does the rain come? That will vary. Maybe it comes before the first innings, maybe it comes in the first innings, maybe it comes after the first innings, maybe it comes in the second innings, maybe it doesn't come at all, which is, of course, what we all hope and wish will happen because we want a full game. So, Pakistan batting first is the first scenario, which is the most likely scenario for Pakistan, because if we win the toss and we bat first, we put 170 on the board, then there will always be the India Pakistan pressure. And now I know a lot of you will say India chased down 170 for fun in the Asia Cup Super Force game, but no, that doesn't describe everything. Now Pakistan is a lot different. Now we have Usman Tariq, and we have also made a couple of other changes. Babar is back, so yes, it'll be an exciting game if Pakistan makes 170 in versus toss and bat first, um, which will mostly be what I think will take place tomorrow, because I see Surya Kumar Yadav winning the toss and choosing to bowl first. We're getting on that later a bit. Yes. So, in terms of the playing 11 for Pakistan, two main changes, which one of them has been already done, which was Usman Tariq replaced Salman Mirza, which was done in the match against USA earlier. And when Usman Tariq replaced Salman Mirza, I think a lot of us were surprised when Usman Tariq bowled a lot later. He came around in the 12th or 13th over when Pakistan were bowling and defending 198, I believe that was against 192, sorry. That was against the United States of America. So next up, I would have possibly like gone for this change like maybe 3 4 days ago, but now I don't think I'm going for this change because Babar Azam replacing Khwaja Nafi. Sorry, Khwaja Nafi replacing Babar Azam. So I believe this is a change that will bring more intent to the Pakistan team, and Pakistan can reach those fancy totals like 250, 260, which other teams have been making. And yes, which other teams have been making. We've seen India smack 280 against South Africa. We've seen India smack 240, 250 against New Zealand in the recent series they played against them at home. So you never know, anything can happen. So if Khwaja Nafi comes in, I would back him. But probably it's not going to happen now. Aga Salman just did a press conference like 2 3 hours ago, and he did state that we are happy with Babar Azam's batting, so we're not going to touch on that. Then, of course, we come to the Indian playing 11. Unlike Pakistan's playing 11, for the first time in many years, Pakistan's playing 11 is looking a lot more settled in the World Cup than India's playing 11. And yes, that might be a slight surprise, but yes, some people might say, oh, Smartari can come in, Khwaja Nafi can come in. Yes, these are two changes, but I don't see any other changes coming in. Now, when we get to India, India has a lot of changes to be made. First up, we get to Abhishek Sharma, who was recently hospitalized due to something. Yeah, he was hospitalized due to something. And Sanju Samson played in the game against Namibia, which India played like 2 days ago. So when they played in that game, Sanju Samson played as an opener, and he made 22 runs from 8 balls, as it was stated. So now I hope and I think Abhishek Sharma will be back to full fitness, and we also want to him to be back to full fitness because we've got some work to do with him. Um, like we've got some revenge to will from him. Who remembers that Asia Cup matches and all of that when Pakistan got smacked 3-0 and not getting into that. So Abhishek Sharma will probably replace Sanju Samson, which is probably not going to be a forced change. In fact, it was a forced change when Sanju Samson came in because Abhishek Sharma wasn't fit. He did come to the ground, which was a very good news, but he was not in the dugout. He was sitting in the dressing room, maybe he was resting and whatever. So Abhishek Sharma will press Sanju Samson, and this is a guaranteed stat. Which I know some people might say that Surya Kumar Yadav stated in his press conference recently that Abhishek Sharma might sit out for 1 or 2 games, and Sanju Samson might have to play 1 or 2 games. But that I believe is just playing mind games with the uh, Pakistani high authorities like the Pakistan coach Mike Hassan or Pakistan captain Salman Ali Agha. But I don't think they're faced by that a lot. Then comes Kuldeep replacing Arshdeep. Now, hear me out. This is a big change. This is a very big change because Arshdeep has been performing very well for India, but you can't be leaving out Kuldeep. Who remembers that Kuldeep masterclass in the India Pakistan game when they played in the Asia Cup? The first one I'm talking about, when I believe Pakistan was 67 for 7 down, and 5 of those wickets came for Kuldeep in 2 overs. That was wild bowling. I know Pakistani batsmen played some bad shots, they threw it away, but still, you have to give the credit to Kuldeep. And the second factor for that is that we've all seen so far Sri Lanka has a lot of spinning pitches. We've seen that, and that needs absolutely no, let's say, discussions on that topic. So if Kuldeep comes in for Arshdeep, then probably the top order, which we're seeing here, is opening between Abhishek and then Ishan Kishan. One down will be Surya Kumar Yadav, and then one down will be sorry Tilak Verma. Two down will be Surya Kumar Yadav, and then we go down slightly. Dubey comes in, Rinku comes in, and those power hitters come in before Akshar, and then the bowlers. So this is the first likely thing if Kuldeep replaces Arshdeep. We've already talked about both Arshdeep and Kuldeep, but now let's talk about Dubey. This is possibly another change. I know a lot of you will disagree with this, but this is a possible change. Kuldeep Yadav replaces Shivam Dubey, and Arshdeep and Kuldeep both play. That will obviously give India more bowling depth, but that will sacrifice a batsman because we know Kuldeep Yadav isn't the best of batsmen, and obviously he shouldn't be there because he's a bowler. So Kuldeep will replace Dubey. If Kuldeep does replace Dubey, then India will have more bowling because then Arshdeep will be bowling, then Kuldeep will be bowling, and yes, the bowling options will remain kind of the same. But then the batting will be slightly compromised. Yes, that is a factor because then Shivam Dubey, who can hit a few powerful shots, and he did that in the Asia Cup final against who else? But yeah, against who else? Well, Pakistan. He did do that in the Asia Cup final, and he smacked some good sixes until he was holed out in Shaheen Shafidi on the long off boundary. Good catch that was by Shaheen Shafidi, by the way. So Kuldeep Yadav replaces Shivam Dubey. This is also a possible change, but then obviously that means Rinku Singh will have a much added responsibility in this team because if Rinku then doesn't perform, then you have no Shivam Dubey to assist him, and also Hardik Pandya. This will also have a very large added responsibility onto both Hardik Pandya and Rinku Singh. So if that happens, then both of them will be highly burdenized, and if one of them fails, then the Indian lower middle order where Akshar Patel bats, or the kind of the lower order, right? That will be really exposed to the Pakistani bowling such as Usman, Tariq. Now, possibly another change that can take place in the India match tomorrow is Rinku to be benched in place of Kuldeep. So again, that's pretty much the same thing, but just names swapped around basically. So if Kuldeep replaces Dubey, then obviously uh, Rinku will have an added responsibility along with Hardik. But if Kuldeep replaces Rinku, then Dubey and Hardik will have an added responsibility. It's just an all-rounder combination. Dubey can ball, Kuldeep can ball, Hardik can ball and bat. Rinku can bat, but he can't ball. Obviously, he's a wicket keeper. So it's interesting to see which Indian combination they exactly go with. So my probable 11 here is Abhishek Sharma opens with Ishan Kishan. Both of them are absolute destructors up top. And then we have Tilak Verma one down who likes to slowly build his innings if someone has been reminded by that. So I say Arshdeep and Ishan Kishan open the batting up top, and then one down comes Tilak Verma, two down comes Surya Kumar Yadav, three down comes Dubey, then four down comes Rinku, Hardik, and then begins Aksar and then the bowling. Obviously, it's yet to see which bowling India will exactly go with. Arshdeep is probably the main choice to get sacrificed if Kuldeep has to come in place of a bowler. But if he has to come in place of an all-rounder, then obviously the top order, which is Tilak, Abhishek, and Ishan, will obviously have a much more added responsibility if Kuldeep replaces one of the all-rounders. Right now, as we see, India has a lot of all-rounders, and another team has a lot of all-rounders, which India is playing against tomorrow. Yep, I'm talking about Pakistan. We play Nawaz, Shadab, Fahim, and all three of them have become scapegoats in recent times. Yes, they have. Someone says, let's bench Nawaz to bowl Usman Tariq. Let's bench Fahim to bowl Usman Tariq. Let's bench Shadab to bowl Usman Tariq. But I don't think any of that makes any sense, at least during this World Cup. Now that they've gone with Usman Tariq, they should stick with Usman Tariq and don't replace him by Salman Mirza. Salman Mirza is a wonderful bowler. No offense with him, absolutely not. But Salman Mirza does not have that big game experience. Usman Tariq has played against Australia, right? And he has played against Zimbabwe. Yes, he has. But Salman Mirza has never played against India, so that is a factor in favor of Usman Tariq. But it'll all be decided at the toss, which exactly, right now as I'm speaking, is just 25 hours away. Exactly 25 hours away from the toss. Then, obviously, there's one last factor we have to yet talk about, which is large dimensions. Yes. So this is not like a Sri Lankan ground mostly. It's uh, more like an Australian ground where the dimensions are very large. And as if you noticed, or even the boundary riders, they're not on the boundary. They're already like 5-10 yards inside because they know the batsman won't hit it far unless you've got some massive power hitters. I'm not mentioning any. So unless you've got some absolute power hitters, they are not going to hit it that far. It's that kind of a ground where I believe you have a 60 meter square on both sides, on right and the left, on the offside and the onside. And then the straight boundaries on both sides are very, very long. You have like 79 meters on one side and then almost 80 meters, which is obviously 79 meters on both sides, both straight and if you try to scoop it back and if you try to hit it straight from both ends, it's very large. So it depends on that. So mostly teams will look to play it around, get into their innings, as we saw after a wonderful start by Saibzada Farhan and Simon Ayub in the USA game. I think in the USA game innings, what happened was that they had time, they were settled, and when a new batsman came in, they could tell him, they had the experience to tell him how the pitch is behaving. And so the newly coming in batters could obviously judge the pitch a lot better and then smoke it, which obviously they could not, and Pakistan got out cheaply. But that's a different topic. That's Pakistan, obviously. That's Pakistan for you. So now some people might say that India is too far ahead in terms of quality. And I say, yes, India is too far ahead in terms of quality. No, India is far ahead in terms of quality, not too far ahead. There's a huge difference in that. So India's far ahead. India is ahead. We know that. We acknowledge that. But on Pakistan's day, we can beat any team. And this Pakistan team right here, this team can beat anyone in the world. We beat Australia 3-0. We beat Netherlands, USA. I know those are associate nations, but we beat Australia 3-0, right? We also won a series against South Africa, right? So, yes, this Pakistan team, as I'm speaking right now, can beat anyone. As we now come on to Pakistan's probable playing 11, as I've already spoken, like Usman Tariq will replace Salman Mirza, which he already has, and Nafe might replace Baba, might not replace Baba, but as I say in the current press conference, I don't think so. Nafe is replacing Baba. So my probable 11 for this game comes Saim Ayub and Saibzada Farhan open the match, right? Salman Ali Agha comes one down, and then I would have hoped before the USA